Have you ever think about how is the minus b formula for ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0 is derived? Here are a step-by-step tutorial of how to do this. In order to get the solution for this answer, so firstly, there are two important things to be noticed. The first thing is we gotta make sure that this is a quadratic equation, which means that a can't be 0. If a is 0, then this is a linear equation instead. And the second thing is, in order to get this formula, so there's something we have to make sure, that is, when b squared minus 4ac is larger or equal to 0. By doing this, we can have real roots from this equation here. So actually, the procedure of doing this is to complete a perfect square based on that equation. So from this equation here, if we take a out of the bracket, then we will have this as the first part of our formula. And what we are trying to do here is to make this a perfect square. Like something, for example, if we have e plus f squared is e squared plus 2ef plus f squared. Now in here, apparently we have e squared as our x squared. So it's this. And we have a potential 2ef, which is b over a times x. However, we are trying to find the f squared in order to make it a perfect square form. So if given this, we know that e here refers to x, actually, and 2 is 2, but f is something that we don't know. But since e is x, now 2ef is b over a times x, then from here we can know that it's actually 2x times f is b over a times x. These x can be cancelled out. So after doing that, fortunately you can see this, that is 2f is b over a. So f in this equation actually refers to b over 2a. So in order to make the formula a perfect square form, we need an f squared, which is b over 2a squared. And that is b squared over 4a squared. So the original function can be changed to this. So it's this plus b over ax. We just simply added a b squared over 4a squared, and we minus that out. If you look at this equation, you may find, now, what's the point of doing that? That's useless, right? So you plus a thing and you minus a thing. That doesn't change the equation at all. However, by doing this, we can hopefully get a perfect square from it. That is the first part of the equation, which is this, as a perfect square. We take this out of the bracket, and the second part would become minus a times b squared over 4a squared plus c equals to 0. So that's because we multiply a for the first part and the second part of the equation. So the first part is here, and the second part is when we multiply a to this, so it becomes this term here. Now, hopefully this does make sense. And the reason why we are doing this is because, as promised, then the previous part of the function can be written as a times x plus b over 2a squared. So that's the whole point of doing that. And minus a times b squared over 4a squared plus c equals to 0. If we have this formula, then the things are complicated. Things are getting easier now because this one is easier to do. So we simply do this. Now these guys will cancel out. So the equation will be a times x plus b over 2a squared minus b squared over 4a plus c equals to 0. If we change these part to the right-hand side of the equation by plus b squared over 4a and minus c for both sides of the equation, then we have a times x plus b over 2a squared equals to b squared over 4a minus c. Now, if we try to solve this equation, we can divide a for both sides of the equation. So we have x plus b over 2a squared is b squared over 4a squared minus c over a. And if we change that to a fraction, then that would be b squared over 4a squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. So we simply change that, change the second part by multiplying 4a for both the numerator and the denominator of the fraction. So the original equation is now x plus b over 2a squared equals to 4a squared on the bottom and b squared minus 4ac on top of it. So if we keep doing this equation, by square root both sides of the equation, hopefully we have, so x plus b over 2a is plus or minus square root. Remember, when we square root both sides of the equation, we always have plus or minus. And if we take a closer look at this, then that would be, so plus or minus. Remember that square root can be distributed to the numerator and the denominator. So please know that square root for a squared is actually 2a. So the original equation can eventually be, so x plus b over 2a is now either positive square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a or negative b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So the last step of doing the question is simply minus b over 2a for both sides of the equation. So you have two different answers. Now there are two different answers, so I'm going to use x1 and x2 respectively. So for the first part of the answer, x1 is then, you can move that to the right hand side of the equation. So that will be minus this plus b squared minus 4ac here. And x2 represents, if you move this to the right hand side of the equation, and that will be minus, and that's another minus here. So these should look very familiar to you because if you merge them, like these equations, these fractions, they all have the same denominator. So the answer of the first part would be minus b plus square root b squared minus 4ac. And the second part of the answer will be minus b minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And these would be the minus b formula that you've seen from your junior cert. And this formula is also on the cover page of your log table.